Please like, share, and subscribe this video to support.
2 U.S. Code Paragraph 1416, Confidentiality. A. Mediation. All information discussed or disclosed in the course of any mediation shall be strictly confidential, and the executive director shall notify each person participating in the mediation of the confidentiality requirement and of the sanctions applicable to any person who violates the confidentiality requirement. B. Hearings and deliberations. Except as provided in subsections C, D, and E, all proceedings and deliberations of hearing officers and the board, including any related records, shall be confidential. This subsection shall not apply to proceedings under Section 1341 of this title, but shall apply to the deliberations of hearing officers and the board under that section. The executive director shall notify each person participating in a proceeding or deliberation to which this subsection applies of the requirements of this subsection and of the sanctions applicable to any person who violates the requirements of this subsection. C. Release of records for judicial action. The records of hearing officers and the board may be made public if required for the purpose of judicial review under Section 1407 of this title. D. Automatic referral to Congressional Ethics Committee of dispositions of claims involving members of Congress and senior staff. 1. Referral. Upon the final disposition under this subchapter, as described in paragraph 6, of a claim alleging a violation described in Section 1415 D.1.c of this title committed personally by a member of the House of Representatives, including a delegate or resident commissioner to the Congress or a senator, or by a senior staff of the House of Representatives or Senate, the executive director shall refer the claim to A. The Committee on Ethics of the House of Representatives, in the case of a member or senior staff of the House, or B. The Select Committee on Ethics of the Senate, in the case of a senator or senior staff of the Senate. 2. Access to records and information. If the executive director refers a claim to a committee under paragraph 1, the executive director shall provide the committee with access to the records of any preliminary reviews, hearings, or decisions of the hearing officers and the board under this chapter, and any information relating to an award or settlement paid in response to such claim. 3. Review by Senate Ethics Committee of settlements of certain claims. After the receipt of a settlement agreement for a claim that includes an allegation of a violation described in Section 1415 D.1.c of this title committed personally by a senator, the Select Committee on Ethics of the Senate shall A. Not later than 90 days after that receipt, review the settlement agreement. B. Determine whether an investigation of the claim is warranted, and C. If the Select Committee determines, after the investigation, that the claim that resulted in the settlement involved an actual violation described in Section 1415 D.1.c of this title committed personally by the senator, then the Select Committee shall notify the executive director to request the reimbursement described in Section 1415 D of this title and include the settlement in the report required by Section 1381 L of this title. 4. Protection of personally identifiable information. If a committee to which a claim is referred under paragraph 1 issues a report with respect to the claim, the committee shall ensure that the report does not directly disclose the identity or position of the individual who filed the claim. 5. Committee authority to protect identity of a claimant. A. Authority. If a committee to which a claim is referred under paragraph 1 issues a report as described in paragraph 4 concerning a member of the House of Representatives, including a delegate or resident commissioner to the Congress or a senator, or a senior staff of the House of Representatives or Senate, the committee may make an appropriate redaction to the information or data included in the report if the chairman and vice chairman of the committee reach agreement. 1. That including the information or data considered for redaction may lead to the unintentional disclosure of the identity or position of a claimant, and 2. On the precise information or data to be redacted. B. Notation and statement. The report including any such redaction shall note each redaction and include a statement that the redaction was made solely for the purpose of avoiding such an unintentional disclosure of the identity or position of a claimant. C. Retention of reports. The committee making a redaction in accordance with this paragraph shall retain a copy of the report without a redaction. 6. Final disposition described. In this subsection, the final disposition of a claim means any of the following. A. An order or agreement to pay an award or settlement, including an agreement reached pursuant to mediation under Section 1403 of this title. B. A final decision of a hearing officer under Section 1405 G of this title that is no longer subject to review by the board under Section 1406 of this title. C. A final decision of the board under Section 1406 E of this title that is no longer subject to appeal to the United States Court of Appeals for the Federal Circuit under Section 1407 of this title. D. A final decision in a civil action under Section 1408 of this title that is no longer subject to appeal. 7. Senior staff defined. In this subsection, the term senior staff means any individual who, at the time a violation occurred, was required to file a report under Title I of the Ethics in Government Act of 1978, 5 U.S.C. App. 101 et. E. Final decisions. A final decision entered under Section 1405 G or 1406 E of this title shall be made public if it is in favor of the complaining covered employee, or in favor of the charging party under Section 1331 of this title, or if the decision reverses a decision of a hearing officer which had been in favor of the covered employee or charging party. The board may make public any other decision at its discretion. F. Claims. Nothing in this section may be construed to prohibit a covered employee from disclosing the factual allegations underlying the covered employee's claim, or to prohibit an employing office from disclosing the factual allegations underlying the employing office's defense to the claim in the course of any proceeding under this subchapter. 2 U.S. Code Paragraph 1417. Option to request remote work assignment or paid leave of absence during pendency of procedures. A. Options for employees. 1. Remote work assignment. At the request of a covered employee who files a claim alleging a violation of Part A of Subchapter 2 by the covered employee's employing office, during the pendency of any of the procedures available under this subchapter for consideration of the claim, the employing office may permit the covered employee to carry out the employee's responsibilities from a remote location, referred to in this section as permitting a remote work assignment, where such relocation would have the effect of materially reducing interactions between the covered employee and any person alleged to have committed the violation, instead of from a location of the employing office. 2. Exception for work assignments required to be carried out on-site. If, in the determination of the covered employee's employing office, a covered employee who makes a request under this subsection cannot carry out the employee's responsibilities from a remote location, or such relocation would not have the effect described in paragraph 1, the employing office may, during the pendency of the procedures described in paragraph 1, A. Grant a paid leave of absence to the covered employee. B. Permit a remote work assignment and grant a paid leave of absence to the covered employee. Or C. Make another workplace adjustment or permit a remote work assignment that would have the effect of reducing interactions between the covered employee and any person alleged to have committed the violation described in paragraph 1. 3. Ensuring no retaliation. An employing office may not grant a covered employee's request under this subsection in a manner which would constitute a violation of Section 1317 of this title. 4. No impact on vacation or personal leave. In granting leave for a paid leave of absence under this section, an employing office shall not require the covered employee to substitute, for that leave, any of the accrued paid vacation or personal leave of the covered employee. B. Exception for arrangements subject to collective bargaining agreements. Subsection A does not apply to the extent that it is inconsistent with the terms and conditions of any collective bargaining agreement which is in effect with respect to an employing office.